They say love makes you blind, but I didn't realize I was walking straight into a trap with my eyes wide open. My name is Mike, I'm 32, and up until a few weeks ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I had been with Emma, 29, for 4 years, living together for 2, no kids, just our dog Charlie in what I thought was a future built on trust. I work as an architect, the kind of guy who likes structure, planning, making sure everything is solid before moving forward. So when I decided to propose, I went all out. I had the perfect ring, a reservation at the most beautiful restaurant in town, and even managed to get all our friends and family there for the big moment. It was going to be her night. The kind of proposal that gets recorded, shared online, and remembered forever. And oh, it would be remembered. Just not for the reasons she expected. That night, everything changed with a single message. Emma was in the shower, and she had left her phone on the nightstand, something she never did. It buzzed. I glanced at the screen out of habit, not even thinking about it, until my eyes landed on the words that would change everything. Can't wait to see you again, Babe Redheart, from someone named Nate. My blood ran cold. I don't go by Nate. My first instinct was to tell myself it was nothing. A joke, a misunderstanding, something I was reading too much into. But a gut feeling told me otherwise, that deep, primal sense that something wasn't right. My hands moved before my brain could stop them. I picked up the phone, unlocked it, and felt my entire world shift in an instant. There it was. A long thread of messages. Flirty, affectionate, deeply personal. Then, the ones that made my stomach twist, talks of meeting up, sneaking around, hotel receipts, inside jokes I wasn't a part of, things she never said to me. It felt like I had been punched in the chest. While I was out searching for the perfect ring, she was busy making memories with someone else. I scrolled, my hands tightening around the phone, reading every sickening detail, watching the timeline stretch further and further back. This wasn't some new mistake. This had been going on for months, maybe longer. Every late night at work, every girls' trip, every time she had been just a little too protective of her phone, it all made sense now. For a long moment, I just sat there, staring at the screen, feeling nothing. No heartbreak. No sadness. Just a deep, simmering quiet. Then, something inside me clicked. If she thought she was going to get away with this, she had no idea who she was dealing with. I didn't say a word. I put the phone back exactly where it was, walked into the bathroom, and kissed her on the forehead like nothing had changed. Because as far as she knew, nothing had. Not yet. What happened next would make sure she never forgot the night I was supposed to propose. Because if she wanted to play a game, I was about to show her what it felt like to lose. They say revenge is best served cold, but I planned to serve it with candlelight, champagne, and a room full of people she loved. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger, thought she could play me for a fool and still walk away smiling. But if she wanted to deceive me in secret, I was going to expose her in public, in front of everyone she cared about. The moment I put her phone down and walked into that bathroom like nothing had happened, I knew there was no going back. My mind was already working, moving past the initial shock and straight into execution. I wasn't going to break down, yell, or let her see me wounded. No, I wanted her to feel every bit of the betrayal she had forced onto me. And I wanted her to feel it in the most unforgettable way possible. I had 1 week until the proposal. 7 days to perfect my plan, 7 days to watch her lie to my face, 7 days to turn the happiest night of her life into the one that would haunt her forever. The first thing I did was watch. I paid closer attention than I ever had before, and the more I looked, the more obvious it became. The way she smiled at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. The way she suddenly had to work late more often than usual. The way she'd step into another room just to take a call. It was almost insulting how little effort she put into hiding it now that I knew what to look for. Every time she lied to me, every time she kissed me goodnight while texting him under the covers, my resolve only hardened. I went through every detail of her betrayal. I checked her emails, dug into old text threads, even found a few hidden photos she had conveniently tucked away in a folder she thought I'd never look in. She and Nate had been sneaking around for nearly a year. A year. All while I was planning a future with her. That's when I realized my original idea wasn't enough. Just exposing her in front of our friends and family wasn't going to cut it. No, I needed something bigger. I reached out to my best friend, Jack. If there's one person I trust in this world, it's him. We've been close since college, and he was the kind of guy who could smell BS from a mile away. The moment I told him what happened, there was dead silence on the phone. Then, a single sentence, "Tell me what you need." And just like that, I had an accomplice. Over the next few days, we set everything up. The venue was already booked, the guest list already made. Now, all I had to do was slip in the final touch, the moment that would make her regret every single lie. But it wasn't just about catching her. I wanted her to experience what it felt like to be powerless, to feel the exact same humiliation she had set me up for. So I went further. I hacked into our home security cameras, something I had set up a long time ago for safety reasons. Only this time, I checked the logs. And there it was. Video after video of her sneaking Nate in, laughing in our home, betraying me under the same roof where I had planned to build a life with her. I transferred all of it onto a flash drive. Then, I bought a new phone. One she didn't recognize. One I would use for one single purpose, to send her everything when the time was right. By the time the night of the proposal arrived, everything was in place. She walked into the restaurant, radiant, beaming, thinking it was the happiest night of her life. She had no idea that in just a few minutes, the entire room would watch her world come crashing down. And I was going to enjoy every second of it. They say karma has a way of balancing things out, but I don't believe in waiting around for the universe to do my dirty work. Sometimes, you have to take things into your own hands. Emma thought she had everything under control, thought I was the fool in her little story. But she didn't know that while she was picking out a dress for the most important night of her life, I was preparing the stage for her downfall. The night of the proposal arrived, and I played my part perfectly. I smiled when I picked her up, told her she looked beautiful, acted like the doting boyfriend she expected me to be. I even complimented her dress, red, elegant, the kind that turned heads. She loved attention, and tonight, she was going to get more than she ever bargained for. The restaurant was packed. My parents were there, her parents, our friends, even some of my co-workers who had heard I was finally proposing. There were at least 50 people, all waiting for the big moment, excited for the grand romantic gesture they thought was about to happen. Emma was glowing, absolutely convinced this was her night. She squeezed my hand as we walked in, whispering, "I can't believe you did all this." Oh, neither could I. Dinner went by smoothly, filled with laughter and drinks. Emma was completely in her element, basking in the attention. Every now and then, she'd glance at me with a look of pure happiness, like she had truly won. Like I was so madly in love with her that I was blind to everything else. It was almost impressive how easily she lied, not just to me, but to everyone in the room. Then, just as dessert was being served, I stood up and tapped my glass with a fork. The room fell silent. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Emma gasped softly, already covering her mouth, probably expecting me to drop down on one knee any second now. I cleared my throat and smiled. Thank you all for being here tonight. It means the world to me to be surrounded by family and friends on such an important night. My voice was steady, calm, too calm. My heart was pounding, but I wasn't nervous. I was ready. I turned to Emma, and her eyes were already glistening with happy tears. She had no idea. Emma, I continued, I wanted tonight to be special for us. A night to remember. And it will be. But before I go any further, I think it's only fair that we share something important with everyone here. A slight frown flickered across her face. Confusion. I pulled my phone from my pocket, connected it to the projector behind me, and tapped the screen. The restaurant lights dimmed slightly. A video started playing. At first, it was nothing but a grainy security cam view, our living room, our couch. Then, Emma appeared on the screen. And right behind her, Nate. The room fell into complete silence. The video played on, showing them laughing, kissing, doing things that should never happen in the home we shared. The timestamp? A night she had told me she was out with her friends. The sound was on, too, soft whispers, inside jokes, private words they never thought anyone else would hear. Emma froze, her face draining of all color. I could see the panic settling in, the way her hands gripped the edge of the table. A nervous chuckle left her lips, like maybe this was some elaborate joke. But no one else was laughing. Her mother gasped. My father muttered something under his breath. Someone at another table dropped their fork. And Nate? Well, Nate wasn't in the room, he hadn't been invited. But I made sure he got a copy of this little presentation sent directly to his phone at that exact moment. Emma snapped out of it, reaching for me, her voice shaking. Mike, this isn't what it looks like, I swear. I held up a hand. Stop. My voice was sharp, cutting through the tension. Don't embarrass yourself any more than you already have. I turned back to the guests, scanning the room of shocked, horrified faces. I was planning on proposing tonight, I continued, my tone smooth, unwavering. But after stumbling upon some rather eye-opening information, I realized Emma wasn't exactly the person I thought she was. Her father was glaring at her now, jaw clenched. Her mother looked like she was on the verge of tears. My best friend, Jack. He was smirking, arms crossed, because he had known the plan all along. Emma was shaking now, tears forming in her eyes. Mike, please, let's just. I didn't let her finish. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the ring box, and for a brief second, she actually looked hopeful, like maybe this was salvageable. Then I opened the box. Inside, no ring. Just a small USB drive. The one with all the messages, all the videos, all the proof of every betrayal she thought she had hidden so well. I placed it in front of her. Consider this my parting gift, I said coolly. I hope Nate was worth it. Then, I turned, walked away, and left her there, surrounded by the wreckage of the life she had just lost. Behind me, the room erupted into whispers. Someone muttered, "Holy crap." Jack let out a low whistle. Emma? I didn't care enough to look back. The best part? The video was already uploaded online. Not for revenge. Not to ruin her life. Just so there was no way she could ever spin this into something it wasn't. I didn't need to fight or scream. I didn't need to beg for an explanation. I just let the truth speak for itself. They say the truth will set you free, but in Emma's case, it locked her in a cage of her own making. By the time I walked out of that restaurant, her world was already collapsing, and I didn't even have to stick around to watch it burn. But what I didn't expect. She wasn't going to go down quietly. At first, I thought that was it. I had made my statement, delivered my final blow, and walked away with my dignity intact. The video had spread through our circle like wildfire, and within hours, everyone who mattered knew exactly what she had done. Her family. Ashamed. Her friends. Some tried to defend her, but even they struggled to justify what she did. Her job. Well, turns out, companies don't like being represented by people caught in a very public scandal. By Monday morning, she was unemployed. I should have been satisfied. I should have closed the chapter and moved on. But Emma wasn't done. 3 days after the disaster, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I ignored it. Then another call. Then a message. Emma, Mike, we need to talk. No, we didn't. The calls didn't stop. Neither did the messages. But I knew better than to engage, so I let her stew in her own regrets. Then, a week later, my landlord called. Landlord, hey, Mike, just checking in. I heard some rumors from other tenants. Did you and Emma break up? Me, yeah. Why? Landlord, well, she was here earlier today. Said she needed access to the apartment. I nearly laughed out loud. She had the audacity to try and get back into my place. She must have thought that because her name was still on the lease, she had some kind of power. Unfortunately for her, I had already handled that. The moment I walked out of that restaurant, I had gone straight to the leasing office, showed them the security footage, and removed her from the lease entirely. The best part? Since she lost her job, she had nowhere else to go. But Emma wasn't the type to accept defeat. No, she had one more card to play. That night, I got another text. Emma, I just want to talk. Please. I need to explain. I didn't respond. The next morning, I woke up to something even worse. A screenshot. A message she had sent to my boss. Emma, I just wanted to reach out because I'm really concerned about Mike. After what happened, he's been really unstable. He's been drinking a lot, talking about how he has nothing left. I don't know if he's in the right state of mind to be working on important projects. I love him and just want to make sure he's okay. She tried to get me fired. My hands clenched around my phone. This wasn't just a desperate attempt to talk. This was her final play, trying to make me look like the unstable one, the one who needed help, while she played the victim. Too bad for her, my boss wasn't an idiot. I walked into work that morning and the first thing my boss said was, "So? I assume you saw Emma's little concern for your well-being." I nodded. She's desperate. He smirked. Yeah. We told her to mind her own business. Just like that, her last attempt to ruin me had failed. I could have left it at that. Could have just let her fade into irrelevance. But something about her trying to take my job, after everything she had done, made me decide she deserved one final push. I picked up my phone and sent her one last message. Me, if you ever contact me, my family, my friends, or my workplace again, I will send every single text, video, and email I have to your parents and let them know exactly what their daughter has been up to. Consider this your final warning. She never texted again. And just like that, Emma was officially out of my life. They say karma works in mysterious ways, but sometimes, it works so fast you'd think it had a personal vendetta. After my last message, Emma disappeared from my life, which was exactly what I wanted. No more desperate calls, no more fake apologies, no more attempts to twist the story in her favor. She probably thought that if she laid low for a while, things would blow over. That people would forget. But betrayal like hers wasn't the kind people just forget. It sticks, it lingers, it follows you like a shadow you can't outrun. I didn't bother checking in on her, I didn't need to. But 2 weeks later, karma found me. I was grabbing coffee before work when I ran into Lisa, one of Emma's old coworkers. She was grinning before I even said a word. "Mike. I've been dying to tell you this. Did you hear what happened to Emma?" I wasn't particularly interested, but Lisa was already leaning in like she was about to spill the juiciest gossip of the year. She tried getting a new job. But guess what? The hiring manager was at your proposal dinner. He saw the whole thing. I raised an eyebrow, sipping my coffee, waiting for her to get to the point. Lisa smirked. He told her straight to her face, "We don't hire people with integrity issues." She turned red, tried to argue, but he shut her down and walked away. She stormed out like a total mess. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. But the irony was too perfect to ignore. She wanted to build a life without me. Well, turns out, that wasn't going to be so easy when the professional world now saw her as exactly what she was, a liar. But Lisa wasn't done. Oh, and you'll love this, she had to move back in with her parents. I paused mid-sip. Now that was unexpected. Emma's parents were the strict, no-nonsense type. The kind of people who believed in loyalty, hard work, and earning what you had. They adored me. In fact, before everything went down, her mom would call me more than she called Emma. And now, after all that talk about being independent, about never needing anyone, about building her own life, she was back in her childhood bedroom, explaining to her parents why she was suddenly unemployed, single, and publicly disgraced. I didn't even have to lift a finger. Life did it for me. At that point, I could have let it go. I had already won. But there was a part of me that wanted to hear it from her own mouth, to know just how far she had fallen. So I unblocked her number for exactly 1 hour. And just like I expected, within minutes, she sent a message. "Mike, please. Can we talk?" I stared at the screen, debating whether to answer. I knew exactly what she wanted. She wasn't sorry she betrayed me, she was sorry she got caught. She wanted sympathy, wanted me to tell her it wasn't all her fault, wanted me to somehow make her feel better about the disaster she had caused. So I typed out one final response. "Emma, the only thing we need to talk about is the fact that you made your bed, and now you have to lie in it. Just be grateful I didn't burn the whole thing down." Then I hit send, blocked her again, and walked away without another thought. She had lost everything. Me, her job, her reputation, even the guy she threw it all away for. And me? I was finally free. They say the best revenge is living well, and I never really understood that until now. Emma had lost everything, her job, her reputation, the guy she threw it all away for. She had burned every bridge, and now she was stuck in the ashes, while I had walked away completely untouched. And the best part? I didn't even have to do anything. The truth had done all the work for me. After my last message, I never heard from her again. No more texts, no more calls, no more weak attempts to manipulate me into feeling sorry for her. She faded into the background like a bad memory that no longer had power over me. But that wasn't the end of the story, not entirely. A few months later, I got an unexpected call from Emma's mother. At first, I thought about ignoring it. What could she possibly have to say to me now? But curiosity got the best of me, so I picked up. Her voice was tired, almost embarrassed. "Mike. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry for everything. You didn't deserve what happened." That was new. I kept my voice neutral. "It's in the past." She sighed. "I don't expect you to care, but Emma's not doing great. She's still at home, still unemployed. No one wants to hire her because the story follows her everywhere. And Nate? He blocked her the second your video got out. She's miserable." I stayed silent, waiting for the real reason she had called. "You were the best thing that ever happened to her. And she knows that now." I couldn't help but laugh. It's funny how people realize that only after they've destroyed everything. She didn't argue. Just sighed again. "If she ever tries to contact you again, just know she's not looking for revenge. She's looking for redemption." Redemption? She could find that somewhere else. I wasn't her priest. I wasn't her therapist. I was the guy she betrayed. And now, I was the guy who didn't care anymore. I ended the call with a polite but firm, "Take care." And that was it. For the first time in a long time, I was completely free. No anger. No resentment. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing that justice had already been served. She had lost me, lost everything, and there was no coming back from it. And me? I moved on. I got back into the gym, started focusing on work, reconnected with old friends, and most importantly, I learned to trust again. The past stayed where it belonged. And the future? That was finally mine to create.